Welcome to the Electric Playground. Today on the show, we're counting down some of the biggest stories of the year in the rundown.
Plus, we have more Rocket and RAYGUN awards with the best portable game.
And then, yep, more Rocket and RAYGUNs with the best DLC. Also coming up, Marissa hits the set of Vikings in our 25 Seasons in 25 Days series, and much more today on EP Daily. Brought to you by EB Games. I'm your host, Victor Lucas, bringing you the latest in everything cool every single day. And I think you know, but just in case, we are wrapping up our run on City and G4 at the end of 2015. So if you like what we do here at EP, make sure you head to our YouTube page. That's at youtube.com/EPNTV. Watch some content, click that like button, comment, but most importantly, subscribe. Now, here's our rundown. There were a lot of big entertainment stories in 2015, but one stood out above all the rest. In February, Sony Pictures and Marvel Entertainment announced a deal to bring Spider-Man to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and join the Avengers. This is something that fans have craved because Spidey is such an integral part of the Marvel Universe and the Avengers in the comics, but because the movie rights to the character are owned by Sony, it was impossible to put him in the movies until now. As part of the deal, a new Spider-Man, played by 20-year-old Tom Holland, will debut in Marvel and Disney's Captain America Civil War in 2016. He'll then get his own solo movie distributed by Sony in 2017. Superhero movies and TV shows increased their popularity this year despite a few flops, like the attempted reboot of Fantastic Four. Expect to see more and more superhero movies complete with their own expanded universes in the future. I wore the right shirt today, and here to help me talk about one of my favorite topics is my buddy Marissa Roberto.
I didn't wear the right shirt.
You didn't wear the right shirt. But what do you feel? No, you're not fired. What do you feel about all these superheroes?
Well, there's a lot of superheroes right now in my life, Victor Lucas. You have on TV, and I feel like every other movie seems to feature some kind of superhero. So I do feel a little burnt out on all of it because I do want to make sure that I'm going in excited to all these movies, right?
Yes.
And I don't know if having all of these movies come out and or all these movies announced now too. I'm
I
not
feel
excited.
Like I have to apologize a lot because it's like my dream came true with all of these superhero things.
I'm not saying that I didn't dream of this stuff. I'm just saying that I feel like now it's just too much. Like it's overkill. Even with all the Star Wars stuff, I love it so much, but there's just Star Wars everything everywhere now, and I just feel like when it's all in your face all the time, you just feel a little burnt out on it, and you lose that excitement for it.
It really is Star Wars and superheroes in every direction that we turn right now, and it is a little sort of geek overkill, and I'm wondering what's going to happen, especially if the Batman versus Superman movie doesn't turn out to live up to financial or critical expectations or hopes. You know, it's interesting. We have some dilemmas on the horizon, and this new Tom Holland as Spider-Man has got to deliver because people really liked Andrew Garfield. The movies might not have been that great, but he was a good Spidey choice.
I loved him. I just don't want to feel disappointment at all, or any kind of letdown. I don't want to feel that at all when I'm sitting in the theater. I want to get excited. I want to be on the edge of my seat. I want to be eating that popcorn and like elbowing you in the shoulder. I want to know that I'm going to get all of that from those experiences, and I don't know if I can just being as burnt out as I am. 2016, it's just going to be a deluge of superheroes. We actually have two wars, not just between Marvel and DC again on the screen, but inside of each of those movies with all of these heroes fighting against each other. Crazy. Bring your Advil or Motrin or whatever you might need.
Well, speaking of heroes fighting against each other, here is the Rocket and RAYGUN crew fighting over Best Portable Game.
Welcome back to EP Daily. We are doing one of my favorite things of the year, the Rocket and RAYGUN Awards with some of my favorite people. Today we're looking at the best portable game. The nominees are Yokai Watch, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, Downwell, Lara Croft Go, and Her Story. And let's start with Sophia. Sophia, what was your favorite portable game of the year?
My favorite portable has to be Her Story. That game is incredible, and the actress that did it, and it's all live action, and you get to just see these little clips, and the story unfolds as time goes on, and it's incredible. You have to play it. It's like $5. You have to play it.
It is such a different experience from some of these other games. Vic, what are you going to go with?
It's interesting that you pick Her Story because it was a live action game, and it seemed to be like a new thing this year with Guitar Hero Live, which is also portable, and so is Disney Infinity 3.0 as a portable game, and it's exactly the same type of experience with some trade-offs that you can play on your iPhone or whatever, which is crazy, but it's not obviously in this category. Out of this selection, I'm going to go with Lara Croft Go. I think that Montreal that took the concept and took the idea of Lara Croft and the adventuring that she does and turned it into a turn-based, almost like a board game type of experience, games, but they kept all of the essence and the fun and the fantastic kind of production that we're familiar with Lara Croft. I love that game.
I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it, considering it veered from the formula.
Yeah.
Mr. Silverman?
Well, it veered from the formula of Tomb Raider games, but they had already started this formula with Hitman Go.
Yep.
And I really loved Lara Croft Go because I think it was kind of a better game than Hitman Go. But it's not going to get my vote here. For me, it's between Downwell, which we haven't talked a lot about on the show. What an awesome, crazy, falling down a well, shooting stuff, collecting gems. I mean, it's just a crazy kind of roguelike, very unique reverse platformer, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
And her story. And I'm going to agree with Sophia. That's the game that I try to explain that game to people and I struggle. I try to talk about it and I struggle because I don't want to give anything away. It is a non-linear narrative experience, and that is impossible. How do you guys, imagine watching a movie or watching a story together and not all coming to the same conclusion? That's what this game manages to do.
It's almost like an editing simulator in a way, right? You take video clips and you try to piece together a story out of it.
And as an editor, it easily wins my award for story for me.
Marissa, what did you play on the go?
Well, no one has mentioned this yet, so I'm going to now. I'm going to talk a little bit about Yokai Watch because, listen, I know you guys know that I love Pokemon so much.
Yep.
And this game surprised me because, yes, it is like Pokemon, but it has its own unique twist to it. And yes, it is the watch, but it's also just this world with ghosts hanging around everywhere that you can discover. And I know it sounds silly. But the fact that you can invest so much of your time in this thing and it gives you so much back, and that's what I love, and that's what I need out of my portable games. And I gotta tell you, my 3DS has gotten so much play this past year, and Yokai Watch is one of the reasons why.
See, it's funny. I'm not using those dedicated calls anymore. It's the phone. It's the phone games. Mr. Jones.
Yeah, I admired her story a lot for sure, but it's Lara Croft Go. I just like guilty pleasures when I'm going. I like things that distract me. I don't want things that make me think more, and I think that's the challenge with her story.
Yeah, he usually doesn't have a problem with thinking. Jose?
Witcher 3. No? No. And Ben said, just the unique experience that was her story and trying to figure out, did I get everything? Did I unlock all the different clips? Do I even know what's happening? Did I make it to the end? Maybe. I think I did.
I'd like to speak to the lawyer now.
I just want to say something else, though. We missed one game. It hasn't been added to this list, and I don't know why. Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer. I'm not sure. Yeah, exactly.
That's got its own category.
Okay.
That's the best Animal Crossing game of 2015 category.
I actually feel like I shouldn't be voting in this category because I am the only one of us who did not play her story, who has not played her story yet. I promise I will. I thought it would be Lara Croft Go for me. I was a huge fan of Hitman Go. Something about Lara Croft Go didn't engage me. I don't know, it didn't pull me in from the start the way Hitman Go did. I am with Marissa, not on Animal Crossing, but on Yokai Watch, because I've never been a Pokemon guy because I never got into it early enough. So all these people talk about Pokemon. I don't know your Charizard from your Pikachu or whatever. I don't know these characters. But with Yokai Watch being relatively new, brand new to North America and still relatively new in Japan, I feel like I'm getting on the the ground level of my Pokemon, like this generation's Pokemon. So I'm like, all right, I can see myself maybe even buying a plushie of some of these characters.
Yeah, and the design in Yokai Watch is really something special, Yeah.
So creepy.
No, it's a great game.
That was the creepiest thing you've ever said, yeah. Super creepy today.
Creepy things I've said in this show is a long and storied list. I'm not even sure that's in the top 5.
I think I have to agree with Ben on the choice between the two for me. It is her story. I think her story is the best portable game of the year. Yes, it's on PC, but it is $5. It is absolutely worth playing. It is probably the most interesting game on this list. So I believe that's our winner. The Rocket and RAYGUN for best portable game goes to her story. As well, we're gonna do best sound and music, which well, lots of games sound and look good. We're gonna give it to Star Wars Battlefront because hey, it was awesome.
It looked like Star Wars, and it sure as hell sounded like Star Wars. Yeah.
And it was beautiful. Yes, it was a bit of a shallow game, but it looked and sounded great.
Soldiers of the Rebel Alliance, this is our most desperate hour.
So congrats to Star Wars Battlefront and DICE for best sound and music. Come back for more. We're gonna have best DLC and best remake.
This episode of EP Daily is brought to you by Collective Minds, the makers of the PS4 Cool and Charge stand and the Xbox One Media Hub, available at EB Games.
What the hell are you doing?
Somebody has to save our skins. Into the garbage, you fly boy.
My name is Patrick Fugit.
I play Kyle Barnes in the Cinemax show Outcast, which isn't out yet. And I remember the first time I watched episode 4 when they jump down the trash chute and they get down in there and Han Solo is like wading around in the filth and he's like, my God, what an incredible smell you've discovered.
What an incredible smell you've discovered.
I laughed so hard I had to like rewind the VHS tape to see what else happened in that scene because I was laughing so hard. And even still when I watch it, that's like, I wait for that line and then I laugh my ass off.
Welcome back to EP Daily, where everything old is new again, including some of us. We are looking at the best remake and remaster category. I'm not singling anybody out. So games on this list are The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D. We got your Gears of War Ultimate Edition, Rare Replay, the Uncharted Collection, and God of War 3 Remaster. Now, Vic, I know you have a lot of opinions about old things.
I've been doing this for a little while. Listen, you know I love Uncharted. I love that game so much, and I loved having it all on one disc. But Rare Replay is a remarkable achievement to compile all of those games, tweak them, like with Jet Force Gemini, to actually tweak the controls so that they handle better on an Xbox One controller. It's not perfect. Nothing is perfect in this collection. But just that assortment of all of those titles and that history of one of the most prolific and fantastic game companies ever, that's an amazing disc, and every Xbox One owner should have that game.
Foobs, I know you probably played a lot of these games when they first came out, so you're probably a good person to talk about the remakes and remasters. Which one did it best?
I mean, Rare Replay. It was like $20 to get 20 games. It was ridiculous. Like all the history that you're getting in this Rare Replay, and that's why it's going to get my nod.
Scott, I know you have a lot of feelings about games that are reheated and cooked up again and fed to us a second time.
I'm going to agree with Victor Lucas here. I'm going to agree with Rare Replay.
Yeah.
I just feel like I like the way everything was fetishized in this experience. I like the way the curtains sort of parted at the beginning. I like seeing all these very colorful characters. Made me really kind of appreciate how vaunted Rare was. I think we forget very quickly as gamers. Our memories are short. You know, playing Blast Corps again, playing Perfect Dark again, like so much of this, so many sweet spots there for all of us.
And behind the scenes stuff too for all those games.
And that's the way to do it, I think. I think that's the benchmark going forward.
The Mega Man collection was actually pretty decent.
It was really
too.
good.
They gave us some behind the scenes stuff, and also should be thought of if you're collecting some of these remasters for sure.
Marissa, what are you saying?
You know what, I was gonna go with my boyfriend Nathan Drake, but I agree with you guys. Rare Replay did do it best with the collection, and you're getting the most value there for the money, so I'm gonna go with Rare Replay.
I thought you and Nathan Drake weren't seeing each other anymore.
No, we still see each other.
They're still amicable. Ben, second time around, who did it best?
All the Banjo-Kazooies, Viva Pinatas, Rare Replay by a mile.
Yeah.
Raju?
Best value, Rare Replay.
All right, Sophia?
I have to agree, Rare Replay.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Uncharted collection because I love having all those games together, but like you guys have said, you got to give us something more. Go back further, give us something extra, and Rare Replay really did that.
This is our first unanimous
Yes.
vote. This is incredible.
Congratulations to Rare Replay for the best remake or remaster Rocket and RAYGUN Award. Now let's move on to DLC and add-ons, because goodness knows there were a lot of them this year. We've got the Portal 2 content and LEGO Dimensions, of course Destiny, the Taken King, the Star Wars Rise of the Empire for Disney Infinity, the heists in Grand Theft Auto 5, and Starcraft 2 Legacy of the Void. So what are you saying, Marissa? DLC?
I'm gonna go with the time that I had with Disney Infinity. I have to say the Rise of the Empire campaign was so much fun, and yeah, it's just one of those games that you don't think you're gonna have so much fun with when you jump in, and giving my time to this game has been something special, so Rise of the Empire for me.
Benjamin Silverman, a lot of DLC this year, a lot of DLC.
I think this is a runaway with Destiny the Taken King, because I think Destiny the Taken King managed to turn a game that a lot of people had turned off or had tuned out, and it managed to bring them back. That's very hard for DLC to do. Often it just sort of adds a little bit to the experience or gives you a couple extra levels or something. But the Taken King was like a reboot almost of Destiny. Just an incredibly smart move by Bungie and Activision to improve the old game rather than just crank out some crappy sequel this early. Smart move, Taken King.
As a guy who put 500 hours into Destiny and then kind of walked away from it, the Taken King is what brought me back. It got me back in with the story, with more Nathan Fillion as a character, but they just changed so many systems that made the game fresh again, and it sucked me right back in. Activision and Bungie did something really great with The Taken King and brought back players, made Destiny fresh, something that it really needed, almost like a reboot of the game in its second year. Raju, DLC add-ons, what did it for you this year?
It's got to be The Taken King. I mean, I think they actually did rehab that game. You look at how other only multiplayer games like Evolve and Titanfall sort of fizzled out and died, and yet, you know, they've given that second life. Destiny.
Yeah. Jones, what are you saying?
Ben Silverman and I once went to Bungie and they showed us nothing one day when they were showing us the Destiny.
We saw robes.
We've got some exotic capes that we want to show you now. And no, I wasn't a big fan of Destiny, but The Taken King for sure made me a fan.
And Vic, where are you landing on this?
I'm going to give it to the heists in Grand Theft Auto 5. This is a game that came out in 2013. We all forget that, and it's still incredible to this day. And I think we have to give GTA Online and Rockstar a ton of credit. It's an amazing experience, and it looks absolutely phenomenal on the PC, which is where it launched this year. And it took my breath away.
No Batman DLC?
I love the Batman DLC, and I actually love the Portal 2 stuff in LEGO Dimensions and the Disney Infinity and Taken King, all impressive. But I'm giving it to Rockstar and Heists and GTA Online.
Sophia, what brought you back to a game that you had played previously with its DLC?
Well, I actually refused to play Destiny full time, because once I get into an MMO, that's pretty much all I will ever play. But The Taken King actually got me to start playing Destiny almost full time. So it's gonna have to go to The Taken King.
And Foobs?
Well, I'd like to give Destiny The Taken King the unanimous vote from me, but I mean, I'm just gonna vote for Star Wars even though it's not gonna win. Just because Star Wars!
The Empire did this.
It looks like Activision and Bungie have taken it with Destiny The Taken King rocking a RAYGUN Award for Best DLC or Add-on. Stick around, we'll be back with more EP Daily.
This episode of EP Daily is brought to you by Collective Minds, the makers of the PS4 Cool and Charge stand and the Xbox One Media Hub, available at EB Games.
Welcome back to EP Daily. We are celebrating the history of EP Daily with our 25 seasons in 25 days stories. Marissa Roberto, what do we have today?
Well, I'm a little sad now because we only have 2 of these left. This comes from season 24. In fact, it features me because I went to Ireland for one day. We are here talking about the second season of the show because people are going to be able to pick this up on Blu-ray. So what are people getting when they pick up this disc?
They are getting a bigger and better show. One of the things I try to do is make it resonate to contemporary audiences. So the issues that Ragnar has, a lot of his personal relationships, are things that people can identify with. So it's not about people you don't understand or who talk in funny ways and believe in funny things. It's about identifying with them. It's about understanding them.
Travis, I am very disappointed in Ragnar. I really need you now to win me over again with Ragnar. Why should I love him? Because he did some really bad things. There was the adultery.
It's not 21st century now. No, he likes women, what can I say? Now it's a very bad thing, but it happened a lot back there, and I think she overreacted a bit, to be honest.
He did something terrible, and I can't forgive him for it, but you somehow do, or your character does.
Who says I forgive him?
Oh.
I'm not forgiving him. All I know is Lagertha definitely sticks up for what she believes in, and she's not going to bow down to anybody, so she's going to do what's right for herself, what's right for her son, and she has more self-respect for herself to be able to not deal with any of that.
Spears! You've grown up quite a bit. You've become quite the man. Actually, you have a lot of facial hair now, too, which is nice. I didn't see that in the second season at all. When did this come in?
Very recently, I just hit puberty. No, he was playing younger, and I was just trying to keep that more boyish look, and now he's kind of growing up and he's turning more into a man, and slowly, emotionally and physically, we're trying to show that. So that's why the facial hair or lack thereof is on my face.
Was it easy for you to jump right in? How was the cast?
They were absolutely spectacular, but obviously there's always that nerve-wracking. except for this one. Who hired her? It's definitely nerve-wracking coming into a show where they've built that family bond, but they've welcomed me with open arms, and now it's just like any other day.
Just please tell me that Bjorn is not going to commit any adultery.
I've hopefully redeemed the Vikings, and we have Viking heroes now.
Why, yes. Yes, I did have a pint of Guinness while I was in Ireland. Thanks very much for asking, Jones.
I really didn't care. Listen, we're going to answer a Twitter question after this.
If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to EP Daily. It is now time for the best part of every single show, to the Twitter question of the day. This one comes from our buddy, Kyle Chenard. He is at Mr_Precision, if you didn't know.
Yep.
He says, after having a chance to look back on the last 25 seasons of EP, what's your fondest memory of the show?
Oh my God, that's so hard. I loved directing crazy big segments, and seeing those Battlefront pieces made me realize how fun it was to get all of these different disparate sort of angles and sources sort of working together to create something insane, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think my fondest memory was leaving that big red carpet where we interviewed all the Avengers.
That was crazy too.
The whole Marvel Cinematic Universe was there. It was so nuts. I was on such a high after that.
Yep.
I think that would be my fondest, but honestly, there have been so many.
I am looking at all of the crazy intros that we did with Tommy. That was awesome too. It's been kind of emotional looking at all this stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, but listen, if you've got a question for us, you want to get caught up on the show, or you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, you can get all of that stuff on YouTube at youtube.com/EPNTV. Don't forget to click subscribe.
Speaking of getting emotional, tomorrow will be our last episode of EP Daily, but we've got something really cool. Our review of Star Wars Force Awakens, and also our last Rocket and Raygun Award is being given out.
The Game of the Year. Make sure you come back for that. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
EP would like to thank its sponsors, Nintendo, Xbox. EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by Gameloft, makers of Asphalt 8 Airborne, which you can play on your Android or iOS device for free right now.
Well, I'm a big fan of Yoshi, so I was really excited for Yoshi's Woolly World. I had a great time playing that game, but again, I think Super Mario Maker has that lasting power that people will continue to go back to, play, create.